Well, you usually just improvise and do something, and I'll just react to whatever you do. That's how we've done it so far.
Oh, is that how we're doing these cold opens from now on?
Now we're doing it.
This is now cold open now.
Actually,
What you don't realise is that's now your cold open.
All of life is a cold open.
Yes. Bruh.
Cold partner.
Like the heat that Layla got.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Sam's on Wrestling.
That was our cold open.
But you tried to organise it with me and I was just
I just actually go, what we do in a cold open?
We never have those conversations though, it just happens and hence the conversation became the cold open. I don't know what's real anymore. However, welcome back to Sam's on Wrestling and our power rankings. And this is a little series where we analyse some of our favourite and other wrestlers that we like to look at.
And ruin some wrestlers you like.
Yeah,
Justin Gabriel last week.
I know, I don't want to talk about Justin anymore. We talked about him enough, quite frankly. But this is where we take wrestlers and we rank them, we put them into 10 different categories, rank each of those categories for that wrestler out of 10, come to an overall score of 100 each, combine them to make a score out of 200. I know that's a lot of maths, but Sam does like his maths. And
it's all good.
Exactly, we have an overall score and we rank them on a leaderboard to see which are our favourite and not favourite wrestlers.
Who are we looking at today, Sam?
We are looking at Layla.
Really interesting one, Layla.
Yeah, British girl.
British girl.
Yeah.
Won Diva Search.
Did she?
She was the second winner of the Diva Search.
Who was
weirdly. No, she was the third winner of the Diva Search.
Oh.
Apologies. The first one's Chrissy Hemme.
Oh, I see.
So the first one's Christy Hemme. One day, Sam, we might do an Educating Sam on the Divas Search.
Oh, joy.
Sam, it's great.
Is it?
Oh, it's fun.
Is it?
Oh, you'll enjoy it. We'll have a great time.
Sounds it.
Layla's a weird one because technically she's in a tag team with Michelle McCool, but it's the main event of the tag team. They're always main eventing. So we always talk about someone like the best, they have to be on their own, but the women's division's a bit of a weird one. They could easily actually be laycool. We'll go into our tag team score at one point. So this is just Layla, but we can talk about some of the stuff she did in laycool. It's a bit of an up and down one. But before we get into our scores on Layla, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
So you can see other power ranking videos. And please put in the comments below, how would you rank Layla out of 10 in our 10 wrestling categories?
So our first category that we look at is wrestling ability. Sam, what have you gone with for Layla?
I don't want to start negatively because I like Layla.
Sure, so do I.
And I think she really had the best career possible for her talent. I think she got the most, if not more, out of herself. She was willing to throw herself into everything. Sometimes things she clearly didn't like. I don't know if we'll mention that today necessarily. In the Piggy James storyline.
Oh God. Right, well, we have mentioned it, haven't we?
It may be one of the worst storylines in history.
Oh, it's bad, Sam.
I felt sorry for Mickey James. They're going, oh, you're fat. He's like, what, this normal-looking lady? This gorgeous, thin woman? And you saw what the world was like.
No, it wasn't even just the world. It felt like just a rib. You know, like
it is a rib.
That's what it was.
I want you to lose weight. And I felt they literally were so apologetic to Mickey. They were like, I'm so sorry we have to do this. Yeah. And people go, well, they did get their comeuppance at the Royal Rumble. And you're like, sometimes the comeuppance doesn't match the behaviour. And them getting cake thrown in their face at the Royal Rumble just wasn't enough.
I'm all for pushing the envelope and doing stuff. Again, heels can get away with doing stuff. But at the end of the day, like, young girls are watching that. And that
was the problem.
That is the thing. You know, even I, as a 10-year-old kid who thought everything was real and was really into it, I, as a 10-year-old kid who would have liked anything, I was well into Ezekiel Jackson at the time.
Well, the worst thing is
I'd
stopped watching in 2009, as you know, but obviously I'll always watch a Royal Rumble. And that feud was in Rumble, so I kind of followed Raw and SmackDown up to that, and I was just there going, this is what we're doing? So I'm a 19-year-old bloke going, oh, is this what we're doing now? Ridicule. I was at university, I'm looking after loads of girls, and you start to go on nights out, and all you have in your head is, I'm going to protect you, and they go, that's not my responsibility, they're independent women, at the same time they're going, I must do, and then you just watch that, and you just go, I hate life. But I bring this up because Layla did so much good work, just never was in the ring, was it?
You've nailed it.
I'm going to say she's 4, and quite frankly, Sam, I think I'm being really generous.
You're being generous because of the era that she was in?
A little bit.
Would she last a minute now?
Nope. I don't think so. I think it was between 3 or 4, and I went, in that era, she could be a 3, but she was able to hold her own in a few pay-per-view matches, and that's why I jumped it to a 4, because she held her own, didn't botch, and was able to just about hold her head above water in relatively big-ish matches for the Divas era. So I will give her that, but I was really...
I'm giving her the score that you should give her, which is a 3.
Yeah, I get it.
Now we're moving on to storytelling. What have you gone with here?
So this is either storylines, but more their story work in the ring.
Yes.
I've gone 4 again.
I've gone 4.
Because I think the work she told in the ring was more about storytelling, particularly when she was in laycool. The storylines, it's like a caveat to it. It's the caveat to the matches, but you can't have a go at someone for storyline because it's not fair on other people. But they were in decent storylines. They got over because of it, so...
They never really got much time, but she was always someone who could kind of taunt the crowd and get them worked up a little bit.
She got reactions.
Yeah, and that's good, you know.
In ring, it was all about the story.
Yeah.
Because Michelle's doing all the work. She can work. Michelle's a really good wrestler, and I will not have anyone say she isn't. I actually think she's a really good wrestler. Layla wasn't. There's a reason that even when Layla won the women's championship, they were like, you share it? So you can wrestle with it.
Yeah.
That's how you know she's not great.
Now we move on to their promo skills, their character work on the mic. What have you gone with here, Sam?
I've gone 7.
I've gone 7.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
This is what we're saying about getting the best out of time. Because when she first came, she couldn't talk. She got moved to ECW, and she was part of the Expose group with Kelly and another woman, something Adams, my brain's telling me, who she got released relatively. And they were just a dance troupe. Right. It was like the Nitro Girls.
Yeah, that's what.
And they were nothing because she used to be a dancer. She used to be like a cheerleader, I think. Right. So they kind of were like there because they're like, well, we've just given you whatever, $250,000, but quite frankly, you can't work. She became a really good talker. But she really cut some great heel promos.
Yeah.
She's very... Do you know what she kind of reminds me of? She is like what Chelsea Green has been able to become. Like I look at
Chelsea Green.
I look at those two with a kind of Mean Girls thing, and it's what Chelsea Green is now doing, probably better. And I'm like, that Layla and Michelle did a really great job of that, and I think personally Layla did a great job. You can tell the writing was on all. The minute Michelle left to go be a mom and a wife and stuff, Layla just fell off a cliff.
Yeah, she almost needed that foil there.
She's a great 2.
Yeah, what I will say about her is we talk about people. We talked I think a few weeks ago about Baron Corbin being like, oh, I didn't get given much good stuff. Agreed, but I think the best performers make what they get work, and she got given some really bad stuff and made it work.
Yes,
it's very easy for that kind of, as you said, that kind of mean girl cheerleader gimmick just to be really bad.
Yes.
Really easy to make that suck, and it didn't. She was entertaining when she was very limited minutes on screen. She was good, and I actually would never skip a Layla promo.
No, I wouldn't skip any of Laycool, even if I hated what they were doing.
Yeah.
They were good.
In terms of their attire, what kind of they're going for with their character, does their look match their character?
Their presentation.
Yeah, exactly. So Sam, what have you gone with here?
Tough one. I didn't really know where to judge with this. So, because it wasn't really about them being pretty, but at the same time, they did talk about it.
Yeah.
They did. I love, like, afro hair anyway. I think it looks really cool. I think it's a great look. She had, like, a proper big afro when she first started, and then she went into straight hair and stuff like that. I've gone 6.
Okay.
I think she's an above average look. I think her in-ring gear was very Divas 2010.
But I think that's what they're going for.
Yeah, that's the problem. They all had the same sort of gear. I never really would go, wow, look at their look, but I thought their look as a pair worked quite well. What I'm giving the 6 instead of a 5 is her out of wrestling gear stuff. She kind of wore like jeans and like waistcoats and overcoats and big sizes, and I thought she'd come across like almost like a star just by what she wore next to Michelle. So I've gone with a 6. I found it hard to justify any higher.
I went 7.
Oh, okay.
Because I for partially that reason, I think backstage she was always wearing something different. There was always something going on. It was almost like she was kind of going for that Victoria Beckham kind of thing. Which I like because you get something you can immediately attach to and go, oh, you're that. You know what I mean? I think whenever someone's tie can make you kind of understand their character instantly off of one appearance, I go...
I'll give you that.
Yeah. 7. So I went 7.
Yeah, okay.
And now their entrance, Sam. You're not enough for me. Am I enough for you?
Whoa. No. Tough because that's very tag team. They come out as a pair.
Okay.
It's hard to judge them on their own. So I went with 6.
So did I.
Because I think if we were doing it as a pair, it might get a higher score. Individually, because what you're singing is the Michelle McCool it's her theme tune.
Yeah.
It's not Layla's.
No.
And it doesn't work. And I actually can't remember much of Layla. So I've gone with a 6 because I do remember it. But there's not much to go on here. I'm realising that the thing about Layla is they're going, Michelle McCool, Michelle McCool, Michelle McCool. And you're like, that's not great.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And that's why I'm giving it a 6, because it's using a really standard I want to own. And when you're using someone else's entrance theme, yeah, it's not as good a theme as it is. Yeah. Now we move on to their work as a heel. Sam, I think this is her bread and butter. What have you gone with for heel work?
I've gone 8.
Okay.
I've put her in the upper echelons of the heat. We always talk about where the scores are, 8, 9 and 10 at the top. And for me, there's a reason they were on SmackDown every single week. They were getting so much heel heat. I forget the Picky James for a second. They were really, really getting good heel work. And it was because of both of them. And I think Layla, I weirdly think, is mostly of that, because Michelle was doing most of the talking, but then Layla would be doing so much stuff around. She'd always be like the annoying one. She'd be the one wearing the costumes. She'd be the one coming out. She would be the one putting the full stop at the end of all the heel work that Michelle McCool was. Michelle McCool on her own, it would be like a 7. Her coming with Layla makes it. So I actually think Layla's got this residual heel work that really works for me. So I'm generally, I know it's mainly laycool on her own and all that jazz, but I'm still going to go with it. I'm going to say 8.
I couldn't justify an 8. I've gone 7.
Fair enough.
I think she's really solid, but for that upper echelon tier, not for me.
Yeah, I think I have gone high, but I'm going to stick with it for now. We'll see what happens when we do Michelle McCool one day.
And now we go on to their work as a babyface. Sam, we didn't really see much of Layla as a babyface.
That's all. You say that. I did. You didn't.
So I didn't, but you did.
But you got to remember, Layla won the Diva Search in 2006
Right.
and didn't turn heel with Michelle McCool until about 3 years later.
Right.
So she actually spent most of her time as a babyface, and she was the babyface in the Michelle and Layla breakup. She was the babyface in that one, and then Michelle disappeared straight away. Layla wins the feud, technically. I give her a 4. She was the most blandest white meat babyface. She was smiley. She was a smiley babyface. They gave her no personality, and we just assumed she didn't have any personality. And it turns out she has buckets of personality, but sadly, as a babyface, they gave her nothing to work with.
Yeah, I also went 4. Not very memorable and bland.
It isn't.
You can kind of copy and paste that character with about 10 different women from that era.
It really is. That was the sad thing about it. If you weren't someone who stood out, such as a Trish or that type of person, they just gave you nothing to work with. When you've got someone like an awesome worker like a Gail Kim and they don't even put her on TV, what are you going to do if you're a white meat, bland, happy-go-lucky babyface? You've got nothing.
And now we move on to their gimmick and their personality. Sam, this one's going to be a bit higher.
Again, I've got to be careful here because I don't want to be doing it about laycool. And I feel that I have. I've gone 7 because she showed so much personality when she was doing it, and they're going, that isn't the laycool stuff, but that shows that she can do the personality. So we're going with personality rather than gimmick, but you could say the Mean Girls thing is a gimmick, even though it's laycool. I don't know, it's so much laycool. It's so much laycool is what she's known for. So I'm going for 7 because she showed so much personality during that run to be able to show it everywhere else.
I echo all of that. I'm going 7, but I do feel it is a bit generous because that's kind of, and for me, that is all I knew her for anyway.
We could probably mark her down in every single category by 1 because of that, but she was able to do that. If they just hadn't just stopped booking her the minute Michelle left, she might have been able to do it.
It shows she definitely had it in the locker. I think she could have done.
But do you reckon they didn't give her a chance because she couldn't work very well?
Yeah, on her own, that would be the thing, wouldn't it? It'd almost like if she's on her own, she would have needed then a manager to wrestle for her. You know what I mean? Like a lackey.
She should have been a manager. I think she should have been a manager.
That's kind of what she kind of said it was with Laycool, and it worked.
Yeah, I think she should have been a manager.
And now we go on to the over and draw section. How over they were, how much of a draw they were. Sam, what have you gone with?
It's Laycool again. I've gone 6 because she wasn't over on her own. But she had that, people talked about her and they were known for this stuff. And when she came out on her own with the Michelle McCool, but she still had the heat and all that stuff. So I've given her a 6. I don't think it's correct.
I've written down 6, but I'm going to go 5.
I'm going to join you, actually. I think we could have dropped a couple of scores here because we're doing more about Laycool. And I feel a bit guilty. Because I really like Layla, but the rules are on their own.
Rules. And you know what? We can say, okay, Laycool were the top of the women's division, but were they over?
Yes.
I don't know, not by I don't know, by today's standards.
No,
were they really getting much there? I think they were over for a little bit. Was the longevity there?
Well, that's because Michelle left. I think if Michelle had stayed, I reckon they would have carried on.
Well, again, is that about Layla? It's about the joint act.
So, it is the joint act. I'm going to go 5. You're right.
And now we move on to their finisher. You should always end on a finish. This is our 10th and final category. Sam, what have you gone with?
It's like a sit-out net breaker thing.
It is a sit-out net breaker thing.
I've gone 4.
3. Generic,
It's
isn't it?
such a Divas, create a wrestler, finishing move, isn't it? A type of net breaker.
Doesn't look devastating.
No, I don't know what you could have given her that could have worked, though.
Neither.
Yeah, she doesn't win a lot of matches on her own, so...
Yeah.
So, yeah, the finisher isn't... It's not that memorable either. I had to look it up. I had to look it up because most of the time it was Michelle doing all the work. So, yeah. Sorry, Layla. This has been the most flat rankings we've ever done.
And we really like you, but clearly through our categories, we just don't know why. But we do. You're great. You are great. All right, so now we are going to look at our overall scores. Each of us. Sam, what did you give Layla?
I gave her a 55.
55. I gave her 53.
I think that's probably about right for her on her own. Tag team
Yeah.
be very interesting when we do laycool as a tag team. Yeah,
agreed.
be really interesting.
I believe that's 108.
Oh,
That's
look
correct.
at your maths is fantastic. An overall score of 108. Let's see where she
Wasn't set one
lands.
for nothing.
You weren't. Let's see where she lands on our women's leaderboard. She's gone into 5th place. She's kind of bridged the gap between the Divas era there and the kind of late Divas era.
And she did chronologically as well.
Yeah, I
So-
don't think she's better than Eve there or Mandy Rose, and I think she's way better than your Alicia Fox's, Tori Wilson's, Candice Michelle.
Yeah.
So I think where she's landed so far, probably about right. But where did you score, Layla? What did you give her out of 10? Did you think about her or not that we did and kept going, no, that's Laycool. No, that's Laycool. No, that's Laycool. Completely destroying this whole thing, making it completely redundant. What did you score her? Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please go watch our other Power Ranking videos to see where everyone else landed and why they landed there. And we shall see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.